What do you say to this speculation that the Ashes are going to prompt you to open our borders earlier?
Who's saying that?
Greg Hunt.
Okay, I've never met Greg Hunt. I've never spoken to Greg Hunt. I wouldn't know him if I met him. He's got a very vivid imagination. He hasn't spoken to the Health Minister. I just urge the Commonwealth Government to stop making things up.
And yet he said that they had a good understanding that that's indeed what you're going to do.
Well, I don't know why he would think that. He has no basis to say that. The Commonwealth has been difficult the whole way along, the last 2 years, always trying to be very adventurous and unsafe, whereas we have been very cautious and very safe. The adventurous and unsafe approach was New South Wales, and what you saw there was hundreds and hundreds of people lose their lives, mass economic dislocation, hundreds of thousands of people lose their jobs. Whereas in Western Australia, we've been safe and cautious, and we've had the opposite outcome. So, look, you know, I don't want to undermine all of our good efforts and all of our work over the course of the last 2 years at the last minute, and therefore have to put in place all sorts of restrictions, lockdowns, have people get sick and die. It's not long to go till we get to the 90%. Let's just hold the course.
How do you justify relaxation of quarantine for cricketers?
Look, these are decisions, or no decision's been made. No decision's been made. So there's conversation between police and health with Cricket Australia, and cricket would have to abide by the health requirements put in place. So we've put in place very strong measures over the course of the last 2 years for sporting teams, and cricket needs to abide by it.
There's a lot of talk about cruise ships coming back to Australia. How would we deal with that if they were allowed into the East Coast, etc.?
Well, we'd only allow them in after we open up to the east and internationally. So that would be late January, early February next year. You know, cruise ships are obviously a worry, but eventually they'll come back. That'll be sometime next year.
They are apparently, though, lifting that prohibition on them is actively being considered by the federal government.
Yeah.
Duty-free came back yesterday, so they've listed the ban on that, and now cruise ships. Can you keep them out if they let them?
Oh, we can from our ports, yes. So we own the ports. So, I mean, the Commonwealth understands this. We wouldn't have cruise ships before, you know, late January, early February next year. It'd probably be some time after that because they have to schedule their routes and where they dock and the like. But that's fine. Once we get to that high level of vaccination, that will be permitted, but not before.
The Chief Scientist made a pitch for WA unis to combine and, I guess, become a super uni instead of having the individual unis. What's your take on that?
Well, if the unis want to come forward with a proposition, we'd welcome that. So if the universities want to join up, amalgamate, whatever it might be, to create stronger institutions that can promote themselves nationally and internationally more forcefully, we'd welcome that. But it's up to them. They need to come forward with proposals, and then the state government would look upon them very kindly. But it's up to them really to do that. What I will say though is we will have international students back next year because universities don't start till late February, so we'll have international students back next year. We'll work with the unis to put in place attraction initiatives and promotion for Western Australia, and obviously our financial management means we have greater capacity to do that than other states. The only state in surplus, we have the lowest unemployment rate in the nation, we have the strongest economy, the strongest set of finances, so we'll work with the unis to make sure that that happens.